Interlude: The Prince and the Prophet. Later that afternoon, on the road to Stratholme. I'll talk about a bit more about the scene after we watch it.
Greetings, young prince. We must talk.
I have no time for this.
Listen to me, boy. This land is lost. The shadow has already fallen, and nothing you do will deter it. If you truly wish to save your people, lead them across the sea, to the west.
Flee? My place is here, and my only course is to defend my people.
Then your choice is already made. Just remember, the harder you strive to slay your enemies, the faster you'll deliver your people right into their hands.
I'm sorry for concealing myself, Arthas. I just wanted to...
Don't say it.
I sense tremendous power about him, Arthas. Maybe he's right. Maybe he does know what will happen.
Nothing he can say will make me abandon my homeland, Jaina. I don't care if that madman has seen the future. Let's go.
So the thing is, in the book, it actually says that Arthas actually did believe Medivh, that he was sincere. At first he thought he was just some crazy guy, but then when he said, "Listen to me, boy," and he detected no mockery in his voice, he knew he was serious. And he actually did believe him, but he didn't care, because the only thing that mattered to Arthas was saving his people. He wasn't gonna abandon them at all. Now, I know that sounds odd considering what we are about to see, but it does matter. And trust me, I've got it right. I've got what I want to talk about ready to go. I'm going to read it after we watch the cutscene, because I'm curious if they've changed it at all to reflect the real conversation that happened in the book and not in the original game. But yeah. And also, let's just say that stuck with Jaina, because, of course, that's the second time that Jaina saw Medivh talk about this. And I'm pretty sure Medivh noticed Jaina this time, and that's more than likely why he talks to her directly later. But I just want to make that clear that Arthas, he believed Medivh about what he was saying, he just didn't care, because the only thing on his mind at that time was to get to Stratholme to try to save his people. Okay, here we go. The Culling.
Glad you could make it, Uther.
Watch your tone with me, boy. You may be the prince, but I'm still your superior as a paladin.
As if I could forget. Listen, Uther. There's something about the plague you should know. Oh no. We're too late. These people have all been infected. They may look fine now, but it's just a matter of time before they turn into the undead. This entire city must be purged.
What? How can you even consider that? There's got to be some other way.
Damn it, Uther. As your future king, I order you to purge this city.
You are not my king yet, boy. Nor would I obey that command even if you were.
Then I must consider this an act of treason.
Treason? Have you lost your mind, Arthas?
Have I? Lord Uther, by my right of succession and the sovereignty of my crown, I hereby relieve you of your command and suspend your paladins from service.
Arthas, you can't just...
It's done! Those of you who have the will to save this land, follow me. The rest of you, get out of my sight.
You've just crossed a terrible threshold, Arthas.
Jaina?
I'm sorry, Arthas. I can't watch you do this.
So, unfortunately, they did not change it to reflect how it really happens in the book. Alright. So before I do this, obviously I understand the possible ramifications of doing this, because I'm basically doing a version of an audiobook by reading this aloud to you guys. I want to give full credit to everyone who wrote this, including Christy Golden. Full credit, not trying to steal or anything. I'm just wanting to read this small little tidbit of a very large book to really expand on what happens here, because this small part answers and explains things that people have asked about and questioned and criticized about this scene for years. So the chapter starts off with him and Jaina waking up there because she got there at night, and they spent some time together because this whole ordeal was getting to them. So they had some time, the night before together, waiting for Uther to show up. He hadn't shown up yet because they were there overnight waiting for him, basically, because they couldn't go in without him bringing the forces, which he finally did. And that's before Uther shows up. That's when Arthas finally tells Jaina about what the plague does, turning them into undead. So, let me see. Where do I want to start here? Alright. I think I'll start with basically around where that previous cutscene started. Glad you could make it, Uther, he snapped. Uther was a patient man, but he lost his temper now. Arthas and Jaina were not the only ones under strain. Watch your tone with me, boy. You may be the prince, but I'm still your superior as a paladin. As if I could forget, Arthas retorted. He moved quickly to the top of a rise so he could look over the walls and into the city. He didn't know what he was looking for. Signs of normalcy, perhaps? Signs that they had gotten here in time? Anything to give him hope that he could still somehow do something. Listen, Uther, there's something about the plague you should know. The wind shifted as he spoke, and the scent that reached his nostrils was not an unpleasant one. Nonetheless, Arthas felt as though he had been punched in the gut. Hold on. Yeah, I'll let I was gonna turn down the game and the music, but I'll let the music play for this. Let me make sure I didn't lose my place here. The smell, the strange, unique scent of bread, baked with the tainted grain, unmistakable on the air, damp with rain. Light, no. Already milled, already baked, already... The blood drained from Arthas's face. His eyes widened, staring starkly in horrified comprehension. We're too late. We're too damned late. The grain, these people... He tried again. These people have all been infected. Arthas, Jaina began in a low voice. They may look fine now, but it's just a matter of time before they turn into the undead. What? Cried Uther. Lad, have you gone insane? No, Jaina said. He's right. If they've eaten the grain, they're infected. And if they're infected, they'll turn. She was thinking furiously. There had to be something they could do. Antonidas once told her, if a thing is magical in origin, then magic can combat it. If they had just had a little time to think, if they could calm down and react from logic and not emotion, perhaps a cure could... This entire city must be purged. Arthas' statement was blunt and brutal. Jaina blinked. Surely he hadn't meant that. How can you even consider that? Uther cried, marching up to his former student. There's got to be some other way. This isn't a blighted apple crop. This is a city full of human beings. Damn it, Uther, we have to do it. Arthas shoved his face within an inch of Uther's, and for a dreadful moment, Jaina was convinced that they would draw weapons on each other. Arthas, no, we can't do that. The words left her lips before she could stop them. He whirled on her, his sea-colored eyes now stormy with anger and hurt and despair. She realized immediately that he truly thought that this was the only option. The only way to save other uncorrupted lives was to sacrifice these cursed ones. these that could no longer be salvaged. His face softened slightly as she rushed on, trying to get the words out before he could interrupt her. Listen to me. We don't know how many people are infected. Some of them might not have eaten any of the grain at all. Others might not have eaten a lethal dose. We don't even know what a lethal dose is yet. We know so little. We can't just slaughter them like animals out of our own fear. It was the wrong thing to say, and she watched as Arthas's face closed up. I'm trying to protect the innocent, Jaina. That's what I swore to do. They are innocent. They're victims. They didn't ask for this. Arthas, there are children in there. We don't know if it affects them. There's too much unknown for such a drastic solution. What of those who are infected? He asked with a sudden frightening quiet. They'll kill those children, Jaina. They'll try to kill us and spread out from here and keep killing. They're going to die regardless, and when they rise, they'll do things that in life they would never, ever have wanted to do. What would you choose, Jaina? She hadn't expected that. She looked from Arthas to Uther, and then back again. I don't know. Yes, you do. He was right, and despairingly she knew it. Wouldn't you rather die now than die from this plague? Die a clean death as a thinking, living human being, rather than being raised as an undead to attack everyone, everything that you loved in life? Her face crumbled. That would be my personal choice, yes, but we can't make that choice for them, don't you see? He shook his head. No, I don't see. We need to purge this city before any of them have a chance to escape and spread the contagion, before any of them turn. It's a kindness, and it's the only solution to stop this plague right here, right now, dead in its tracks, and that is exactly what I intend to do. Tears of anguish burned in Jaina's eyes. Arthas, give me a little time. Just a day or two. I can teleport back to Antonidas, and we can call an emergency meeting. Maybe we can figure out some way to... We don't have a day or two. The words exploded from Arthas. Jaina, this affects people within hours. Maybe minutes. I saw it at Hearthglen. Remember what I was telling you about before? There's no time for deliberation or discussion. We have to act now, or it will be too late. He turned to Uther, dismissing Jaina. As your future king, I order you to purge this city. You're not my king yet, boy, nor would I obey that command even if you were. The silence that fell crackled with tension. Arthas, beloved best friend, please don't do this. Then I must consider this an act of treason. Arthas's voice was cold, clipped. If he had struck her across the face, Jaina could not have been more shocked. Treason? Uther spluttered. Have you lost your mind, Arthas? Have I? Blah, blah, blah. Sovereignty of my crown, hereby order, yeah. And then this is another part here. Jaina felt sick and dizzy. He was really going to do this. He was really going to march into Stratholme and cut down every living man, woman, and child within its walls. She swayed and clutched the reins of her horse. It lowered its head and whickered at her, blowing warm breath from its soft muzzle across her cheek. She was fiercely envious of its ignorance. She wondered if Uther would attack his former pupil, but he was bound by an oath to serve his prince, even if he had been relieved of command. She saw the tendons on his neck stand out like cords, could almost hear him gritting his teeth, but he did not attack his liege. Loyalty, however, did not still his tongue. You've just crossed a terrible threshold, Arthas. Arthas looked at him a moment longer and then shrugged. He turned to Jaina, his eyes searching hers, and for a moment, just a moment, he looked like himself, earnest, young, and a little scared. Jaina? The single word was so much more. It was both a question and a plea. Even as she stared at him, frozen like the bird before the snake, he reached out a gauntleted hand to her. She stared at it for a moment, thinking of all the times that hand had clasped hers warmly, had caressed her, and been lain on the wounded and glowed with healing light. She could not take that hand. "I'm sorry, Arthas. I can't watch you do this." There was no mask on his face now, no merciful coldness to shudder his pain away from her. Shocked disbelief radiated from him. She couldn't bear to look at him any more. Gulping, her eyes filled with tears, Jaina turned away to find Uther regarding her with compassion and approval. He held out his hand to help her mount, and she was grateful for his steadiness and composure. Jaina was shaking badly and clung to her horse as Uther mounted and, holding her horse's reins, led them both away from the greatest horror that they had yet encountered in this whole dreadful ordeal. "Jaina?" Arthas's voice followed her. She closed her eyes, tears slipping from beneath closed lids. "I'm sorry," she whispered again. "I'm so sorry." "Jaina? Jaina!" She had turned her back on him. He couldn't believe it. For a long moment he simply stared, dumbfounded, at her retreating figure. How could she abandon him like this? She knew him. She knew him better than anyone else in the world had known him. Better, maybe, than he knew himself. She had always understood him. His mind suddenly went back to the night they had become lovers, bathed first in the orange glow of the wicker man's fire, and later the cool blue of moonlight. He had held her to him, pleading, "Don't deny me, Jaina. Don't ever deny me, please." "I never would, Arthas. Never." And that is the real conversation that happened in this moment that sadly is not in the game, and answers a numerous people that I've heard over the years criticize this scene about how come they didn't discuss this like real human beings, and how come they didn't do this. As you heard, they did. But because of the things that happened earlier, the moment at Hearthbend I tried to emphasize was a huge important moment, because that showed to Arthas that could happen to people very, very quickly. Now, there's also something else that they didn't know about this regarding the plague, some things that we have found out over time. And it's that the plague was so strong. Keep in mind, this plague was devised and made by the Dreadlords and, of course, the Lich King. This plague, as well as Kel'Thuzad, by the way, who was working for, he says earlier that he's working for Mal'Ganis, when the reality, of course, is that he's working for the Lich King, but he's playing along. But the plague was so powerful and so strong that not even the Naru could be able to cleanse it or stop it. So there was no way that any of them were going to be able to actually cure this plague. And we have seen in places throughout WoW, including Wrath, just how powerful the Plague of the Scourge is. There was no winning this. This was a no-win situation for Arthas. I know some people disagree on that, but I am one of those that firmly believes this was a no-win situation. And keep in mind, this was orchestrated. This was planned by Mal'Ganis, but especially the Lich King, because he was doing this on purpose to force Arthas into this situation, to make a choice like this so that his soul could forever be tainted, to mold him into the perfect candidate for the new version of Death Knights. Not the Death Knights from Warcraft 2 that were the orcs that Gul'dan and Ner'zhul made. No, I'm talking about the Death Knights that we play in World of Warcraft. Arthas would become the first of the new Death Knights that we would then see in WoW. And this was all orchestrated so that he could be his champion. And that Arthas book is not the only book that touches upon this as well. It also is touched upon in the Chronicles books as well. I wanted to do that because I get very sick and tired of hearing people talk about that from this point on, Arthas was evil, he turned evil, when the reality is he never turned evil. He was just forced to do something horrible, and he hated having to do it. He hated every moment of it. But he felt that he absolutely had no choice. I actually kind of agree with his choice when you think about it. Because we have seen the ramifications of what happened when the Scourge spread throughout on a large scale. In fact, we will be seeing that happen. At least I hope we're going to be seeing that happen based on, because I'm just speculating on how I think they're going to do it, on the pre-launch event for Shadowlands. Now that the Lich King is no more and the Scourge can just run rampant and basically destroy everything in their path. I really hope that event really showcases how incredibly unstoppable the Scourge are when they don't have a Lich King to reel them in. But anyways, my point is that Arthas wasn't evil doing this. He was literally forced to make a no-win scenario choice. Whether this was the right choice or not, I personally think it actually kind of was the right choice because there was no other choice to make. Other than just letting them all turn and join the Scourge and then spread out and kill more people and have them join the Scourge. This was a no-win scenario for him. But if you think of it as you have two terrible choices to make, you can't make a third choice. There's two choices and they're both awful. So he chose what he believed to be the less awful of the two choices. Alright, let's actually play the mission now, shall we? I'm sorry that took such a long time of this video, but I really, really wanted to talk about that and point that
Your
out.
Honor. Absolutely.
Because many people to this day still do not know about any of that.
More lumber is
And
required.
as someone who has been a fan of Arthas, because this man is a hero. Even to the end of Wrath of the Lich King. And I will talk more about that when we get to Northrend, and we get to that moment where he gets Frostmourne. I will talk even more about that later, about how this man was willing to give his life for his people and die as a hero. Even all the way till Wrath of the Lich King, which is further backed up not just by the books, but also by the game itself, when you actually hear the dialogue in Wrath. Let's actually play the mission now, shall we? Ooh. Are they already detectors? No, I don't think they are.
Research complete.
Need to get some more peasants before I turn this into a keep. By the way, you can see this is the different map, and this is basically a very similar map. The cutscene was different based on than the demo that I saw and actually participated in at BlizzCon. Like the cutscene, like how they did that cutscene was different than the BlizzCon version, but the map is based on the map here. It's basically the same map from BlizzCon, so that works for me. I don't mind that in the least. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I hardly ever even use that, so.
Ready to work.
Not a big deal. Alright, let's see. I need blacksmith.
Ready to work. Research more lumber complete. Is required.
I forget how long it takes before Mal'Ganis shows up. It's amazing to me that we still haven't actually killed Mal'Ganis. He made one brief tiny cameo in Legion and we have not seen him since. As far as we know, he's still out there in WoW. Because he makes no presence at all in Legion, which astounded me that one of the most iconic Dreadlords in the history of the setting had hardly any presence whatsoever in Legion. That shocked me. I really thought we would see more of Mal'Ganis. But no, let's have Mephistroth get more of a presence. Huh? Who? Why? Oh, here comes Mal'Ganis.
I've been waiting for you, young prince. I am Mal'Ganis. As you can see, your people are now mine. I will now turn this city household by household until the flame of life has been snuffed out forever.
I won't allow it, Mal'Ganis. Better that these people die by my hand than serve as your slaves in death.
Better that these people die by my hand than serve as your slaves in death. And that is yet another example as to why he truly believed that this was basically the only choice to make. Alright, let's see.
More lumber is required.
Alright, hold on. Alright, let's head here. We have to go after Mal'Ganis.
Father, forgive me for what I must do.
Gosh.
Certainly. A sound plan.
He hated doing this so much. And it leads right into why he does what he does, heading into Northrend.
Certainly. For my father, the king. For honor. Betrayer of the light.
Nope, you can't just...
For my father, the king. Certainly. Betrayer of the light.
Of course there are rats.
Justice has come. You are past redemption.
Upgrade complete. Our forces are under attack. More lumber is required.
Alright. It's like, look, I spent a ton of time with the reading. Probably a little more than I thought I was going to, but I really wanted to emphasize the stuff that happened in that scene. I really wanted to get that across, considering how many people to this day still do not know about any of that. And I'm serious. There's a lot of people that to this day, they still don't really get it or understand it. Partly because a lot of those people have never bothered reading
For
any
my
of the
father, the
books
king.
or looking into the extra material.
Research complete.
Some never even played this game and, you know, understood. They just played, you know, some only played WoW and they were like, oh, so I guess Arthas was evil, huh? And I just...
Of course. A sound plan.
Nope, get back here, Scourge.
Certainly. A sound plan. For honor.
Our town is under siege. Research forces are under attack.
A sound plan.
Lance will be back soon.
Research complete. Foul knave.
Hello! Come on, Shorty.
On our way! Research complete. More lumber is required. For honor. Feel my wrath. Justice has come. Of course. I await your command. Our forces are under attack. At once. Research complete. For honor.
Locked and loaded! I'm your shooter!
What have we done?
Research complete.
I live once more.
Can I help you? Aye, sir. Time to go.
You see, where is he going? Up, up.
Command me.
What do you need?
Certainly. Research
Your
complete.
Honor.
I swear it. Research complete.
Say the word. On my way.
Of course.
Get him.
For honor. Of course.
A health stone.
A sound plan. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. What ails you?
Alright, you guys need to make some farms.
Our forces are under attack. Research complete. I can't build there.
Alright, let's do this one more time. Just to help speed up on stuff like the research.
Job's done. Job's done. For honor. Job's done. There. Job's done. I can't build that.
Job's done, can't build it. Job's done, can't build it. Job's done, can't build it.
Papa, best crawl back to your senile father and await the end of your reign.
Oh.
Plan.
Whoa, that makes what happens later so much worse. Oh, I'm already not looking forward to seeing that again. That scene.
Sound plan.
That cinematic.
Research complete. Job's done. Of course. You are past redemption. Justice has come.
The flows of magic are whimsical today. Help me, help you.
Job done. For honor. Foul knave. Certainly.
Research complete.
Of course.
And you know, here's something else that
sound
backs up
plan.
Arthas's decision. You notice how quickly they had turned the moment we took the house down? It was a matter of seconds, meaning he literally did have just a matter of minutes before the entire city
Certainly.
turned. I mean, look at this. Just like that, they turned. And when we got here, he could see that they were already suffering the effects because he saw the effects at Hearthglen. So he knew they literally didn't have any time at all.
Our forces are under
Will
attack.
it be hotshot?
Foul knave.
This better.
I live once more.
Oh gosh, where is he gonna shoot the gun at this time? I need to be ready.
Certainly.
Meat hook!
For honor.
Oh boy, there he is.
A sound plan. For honor. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course.
Research complete.
I come to cleanse this land. Is my aid required?
For honor.
Let's get to fighting. Gotta go. Me too.
A sound plan. For honor.
Show us a target.
Is someone injured?
Of course. Certainly.
Is my aid required?
Will it be hotshot?
A sound plan.
Research complete.
This better be good. Once again, it's up to the elves.
Orders? Justice has come.
Will it be hotshot? It's bad
You know what? Just head off to go die or something.
Where do you want us?
For honor.
Yes, my friend.
Go. Just keep upgrading.
Our forces are under attack.
A sound plan. Feel my wrath. You are past redemption.
Our forces are under attack.
Certainly. Of course. For honor. A sound plan. Research complete. Of course.
Alright. That might be it for the research.
A sound plan. Command me!
Oh, I feel so bad for Arthas. But I also feel so bad for Jaina. Again, like I was trying to also get across in the book, that's why I read that little extra part there at the end. The pain that was experienced for both Arthas and Jaina.
Betrayer of the light!
Between them from that moment, because that was a huge moment
For honor.
because of what they had meant to each other. And, you know, that one part early in the book where he said, "Don't ever deny me," and she vowed she never would. And at that moment, that's when she actually did. And he felt that she turned her back on him. A personal betrayal.
We're going to finish this right now, Mal'Ganis. Just you and me.
Brave words. Unfortunately for you, it won't end here. Your journey has just begun, young prince. Gather your forces and meet me in the Arctic land of Northrend. It is there that we shall settle the score between us. It is there that your true destiny will unfold.
I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth if I have to. Do you hear me? To the ends of the earth!
And he said that to him not because he was, you know, like consumed with vengeance or anything, but because he was so distraught at this point over what he had to do just now. He felt that he had just been forced to commit a horrible thing to the people that he had swore to look after and protect, and he was basically forced to kill them, or as he could probably see it, to put them out of their misery. So it's no wonder he was bent and determined to pursue and destroy Mal'Ganis, no matter where it took him, no matter what it took. It's entirely understandable. At least for me it is. For some people, they just jump to, clearly he's evil, or whatever other ridiculous conclusion or excuse they come up with. I'll talk a bit more about this also when we get to the scene in Northrend, because it also has to do with something else that I have also been one to defend, involving a certain character from StarCraft, but we'll get there. Interlude, Divergent Courses, 3 days later amongst the ruins of Stratholme.
So much death. I can't believe Arthas could have done this.
It would have been even worse if he hadn't. Imagine showing up and they are all ghouls.
Jaina Proudmoore!
Lord Uther?
Ah, Jaina. I thought I might find you here. Where has he gone, girl? Where has Arthas taken the fleet?
He came to me before he left. I pleaded with him not to go. I told him it sounded like a trap.
Where?
Northrend. He's gone to Northrend to hunt Mal'Ganis.
Damn that boy. I've got to inform King Tyrannus. Don't be too hard on yourself, girl. You had nothing to do with this slaughter.
Again, the naivete of Uther and the blindness of Uther come into play there. Not seeing what's really going on.
The dead in this land might lie still for the time being, But don't be fooled. Your young prince will find only death in the cold north.
You! Arthas is only doing what he believes is right.
Commendable as that may be, his passions will be his undoing. It falls to you now, young sorceress. You must lead your people west to the ancient lands of Kalimdor. Only there can you combat the shadow and save this world from the flame.
So you notice that Jaina mentioned that she had already talked to Arthas about this. Again, I highly recommend, if you want to find out more about what's in that book, I highly recommend purchasing the book. And if you want to get the paperback and just actually read it, if you like reading books with your eyes, you can do that. They now have an audiobook version if you prefer to just simply listen to audiobooks, like as a, while you're doing something else. Highly recommend it. I know some people may not like Christie Golden, but even people I know who are not fans of Christie Golden have actually talked about how much they actually did like the Arthas book. It's actually considered like on a large scale amongst the people who have read it and fans of Warcraft as one of the best books among Warcraft books in that's ever been written. So, highly recommend purchasing the book. Chapter 7: The Shores of Northrend. 1 month later, along the icy coast of Dagger Cap Bay. So if we look at the map here, a Nerubian outpost, the Frozen Coast, Arthas' base camp, a couple more Nerubian outposts, a Waygate, and Draktheron Keep. Also remember Falric and Marwyn. Keep those in mind. Because this is supposed to be one of them right here.
You can barely even see the sun. This howling wind cuts to the bone and you're not even shaking. My lord, are you all right?
Captain, are all my forces accounted for?
Nearly. There are only a few ships that...
Very well. Our first priority is to set up a base camp with proper defenses. There's no telling what's waiting for us out there in the shadows.
Alright. Again, that captain is supposed to be... I believe that one was supposed to be Marwen, I think. The point is that they were trying to establish the two different NPC captains as the two captains who stick by Arthas' side the entire time. So, we have made it to Northrend, and we will be heading on through here and coming across a certain notable face when we return. Stay tuned.